Hello everybody, welcome to a bit of different sort of video. So, as you can probably tell by the topic of this thread that I made 9 days ago, it's the 28th of December now. It's probably going to be up the following Saturday. So, which Pokemon is the most influential? So, if you're wondering, yes, I'm in the Pokemon subreddit, as you can see here. So, what I got the idea for this question actually, oddly enough, came about from this question. What gen had the worst starter design-wise? Now, I had my own base take, but obviously the clear winner for that is obviously Gen 8. People don't really, overwhelmingly do not like the Gen 8 final form specifically. I don't blame them. I think the designs for a good chunk of the Gen 8 final forms are kind of not as good. Like, for example, like Inteleon's pretty forgettable. Like, Rillaboom, as much like I think it's fine, it's forgettable. And nobody likes the design of Cinderace because it's just doesn't look like a Pokemon. It just looks like, you know, just generic furry bait. So, yeah, as you can see, I have my own base takes here. But you already know that I'm not exactly a fan of the Trico and Mudkip lines. But that's just, you know, my personal opinion. But that's more like the whole line, not just the final forms. But I'm not going to talk about this topic. I'm going to talk about this topic because this is the one this video is for. So because of that topic from earlier, I decided, you know what? Like, if people are going to say, like, you know, Gen 8 starters are pretty sucking, I was thinking, I wonder what people think of Gen 8 in general. Even though, for the purposes of what I'm going to say here, I'm not even going to include Gen 8. But I thought it sounded like about influential generation. So what do I mean by influential? Well, he's like, as you can see in the second paragraph here, and a bit of a third here, that like if it has some sort, if there's something in like that particular generation of main series games that has started a specific game mechanic that just basically like you can't remove them, or if they remove them comes super backlash, that sort of thing, or if something introduced like a mechanic or something that caused the franchise to be worse overall, that's what I mean by influential. So regardless of if it's positive or negative, like what generation, like not just like the starting base game, but rather the whole of that generation, like people say can influence the rest of the series going forward. And I did mention on bold, like it can include spin-offs, and it's like, even though for the purpose of the, all the comments down there don't take into account that much. So, anyway, so let's go right down to the actual poll. So, before I show you the results of the poll, comment below right now what you think it was. Okay, what do you think the results of the poll were? So, as we'll see in here, I actually purposely did not include the Gen 1 and Gen 8. That's because Reddit in itself only has 6 options for poll maximum. So I had to get rid of 2. So I got rid of Gen 1 as an option because Gen 1 being influential is not even it's not even a question. Like it's not even like a consideration because everybody knows Gen 1 is the most influential because Gen 1 is the one that started it. And also, I'm not including Gen 8 because it is, at the time, it is still the more current generation. Yes, people might think that it's still influential because how much it downgraded the franchise going forward. But I still don't think Gen 8 is the most influential. But we'll just wait to where it goes on. And by the way, you can probably tell by the green screen effect, something is somehow bleeding into my blue shirt. It happens. Don't worry about it. So, comment below. What do you think it is? And now I'm going to show it to you. Now, actually, get one from the comments. I figured, as I'm going to mention later on, that by the comments I've seen in this, I'm going to assume that either Gen 3 or Gen 4 is going to be the most influential. And even though I've already seen the results of this, but it's actually kind of surprising what people think. So, the total amount of votes here is 3,111. Yeah, 3,111 on a, a thread only has like 32 upvotes. But, here it is. That's right. A good chunk of people consider Generation 4 to be the most influential generation, and not too far behind Generation 3. And it seems like on third place is Gen 2, and then on fourth place is Gen 5, and then fifth place is Gen 6, and Gen 7 is last. Not surprising. I'm gonna say this is a very not surprising take. I thought that actually a good chunk of people might make Gen 5 the second place. And again, judging by the comments, like it's going to be the Gen 3 or Gen 4 regardless. But I get why Gen 4 is. So I haven't read most of the comments, and the ones I did, I didn't really pay attention too much. But like I consider, yes, Gen 4 is very influential. If you want my take on it, I'm on what the heck? I'm on the Gen 6 camp, but mostly because like of how many different changes Gen 6 had to go, even more so to Gen 4. But again, I'm on the Gen 6 group. But as you can see, I did not participate in the poll itself because I don't want to look at the results early. So I'm gonna assume this is what I'm gonna assume, right? That Gen 4 is the most influential generation because one, it introduced online. Because like obviously it's like yes, we had like battle simulators like for PC forever now. I mean, the first one I knew about was Net Battle for Gen 3. Yeah, Gen 4 started online, and even though Diamond and Pearl's online is terrible, it did have PDR, which was very like notable for online play. It introduced a physical special split because that's probably the one thing people care about the most. It's pretty much something that you can't get rid of now that it's there. And it did help and hurt a bunch of Pokemon even from now and going forward. Depending on what their movesets are. Again, see the grainy thing on the green screens. The effect isn't that good. But again, there's a lot of shadows going on everywhere. So I don't know if I should go like this, going back a bit. But anyway, but yeah, and then we'll just see going forward, like for the comments, what's going on? Why do people overwhelmingly consider Gen 4 the most influential generation? So let's go begin the comments. So I'm gonna sort by top. So let's go see what people think. So yeah, the top comment actually has like sums up what I think about it. So it's either abilities with Gen 3 and the physical special with Gen 4. I mean, they are like a big thing because abilities were a massive thing going on. Even though I've heard that like abilities themselves weren't going to be like over like the whole for every Pokemon's gonna show have ability, but like it does. Interesting take here with Gen 4's unlimited bag space. And then the updated PC system. Oh yeah, that started, but Gen 3 started the PC system. Because like Gen 1 and 2 is mostly just text and maybe like an image. Like, that's it. But yeah, Gen 3 and 4, they do have a lot of modern features. Okay, this one here, though I want to regard it as a first because they were only bad since the natural evolution of the series. So this is a good take from this user. That, because like Gen 3 and Gen 4, they like mostly more Gen 4. Oh, sorry, I just put up Discord. Showed up. Gen 3 is Gen 4 is like a natural evolution of Gen 3. They guess Gen 3 introduced like a lot of crazy stuff, but people that guy saying Gen 3 isn't exactly Gen 3 or 4 isn't exactly that influential because it's. People's like it's just going forward. It's like people knew this was going to happen. It's going to happen eventually. It's kind of like what for Gen 6 for the same reason because like Pokemon was going to go 3D eventually. It's just more of a matter of when because of the whole 3D spell like the Stadium, Coliseum, that sort of thing. I guess for Gen 6 it's like 3D is going to go up eventually, and then for Sword and Shield HD is going to go up eventually. Uh, so I gonna and like with Legends Arceus too, like with more higher definitions. So that would mean that going like natural evolution for graphics specifically, Gen 9 was going to be probably going to be even more graphically intensive. But again, that's mostly because of more of the developers, learning more about the Switch and all the different things. So I like this. I like this comment. This is a good take. This one too. This one similar idea. Nature's Nature's that's something for Gen 3 you can't really get rid of like nowadays because this is so important. Like Nature's being so important that like people would intentionally bench a cop Pokemon in game because they don't have the right nature. And I notice because I do it myself. I do sometimes would like if I catch a Pokemon and the nature is terrible, I would bench it to catch another. So that seems to be that's an important distinction for Gen 3. Abilities I just mentioned. EVs, yeah, EVs I get it because Gen 3 had because of how Gen 3's EV and IV system worked, like they could at the time transfer from Gen 2 to Gen 3, which is a shame. Which did introduce the first Dexit, but it seems for the better or for the worse because of early Dexit. I've heard about some people actually quitting Pokemon during Gen 3 because with the excuse of I must have grew out of Pokemon, like without the series being what 6-7 years old. So that I don't get, but like yeah, and then for Gen 4 the online as I mentioned for this is a special split. Yep, I just mentioned that. And very specific items like the choice items specifically because that's Gen 4 too. Like competitive, like in general, was I don't know. Maybe it was just me personally. I think Gen 5 was better off like competitively, but that's getting it more efficient competitively. But it doesn't really help with the weather, like the weather starters. I don't blame them if people think Gen 5 isn't that great because of the online, but I think Gen 5 is better competitively than Gen 4. But that's just me. Training, battling, trading too. But yeah, physical social split, 2 important. Let's see what else do we see. Oh, double battles. Oh yeah, double battle Gen 3. Okay, that I forgot about. Cause VGC to this day uses double battles. And that's already Gen 3. So yeah, I get that's a really good take. That's a really good take. I get why this is here. Yeah, that's a good reason. Yeah. Let's see what else. Yeah, it seems like even though the poll winner is Gen 4, but like it seems that the Gen 3 group seems to have good reasons for their pick more than Gen 4. I mean, Gen 4 is mostly physical special and online and some items, but Gen 3 that's where they all started it. Like this is where it's more natural evolution of 3. Yeah, I don't follow UC, but it's hard to know what important doubles is exactly. Anyway, here's a 6th gen comment. Although it's more of the negative aspects, I don't know. Come on. I don't think Gen 6 is that terrible. Although some would say Gen 5 for the same reason. Shame on you. They took a risk. Gen 5 fans hated it. That's true. People actually did absolutely hate Gen 5. It was actually super hated. And if you're saying that Gen 5 is the best generation, because it is generation, it always was, just that people don't get it. People didn't realize until it's far too late that Gen 5 is actually the best. And then with X and Y, considering what we know about X and Y's non-instant story, it's still more relevant than Gen 5. So, yeah, it hurts. Yeah, exactly, it hurts. But yeah. And this is why people like Gen 5 today. Because people want more story now. People more interested in story. So, but the problem is I don't think Game Freak or even Poke Company would even care of taking the time to make a good story anymore. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about right here. This is my take right here because they're not. Yeah, X and Y aren't bad, but and they actually are influential because remember the PSS That's like the best way to enter online in any generation. I mean, granted, Gen 8 has has their own versus screen, like right from the menu, but it's really like Gen 6 is on the always there on the touchscreen. Okay, yeah, story doesn't. If they focus on content, that's not important, really. The vast essence of the game is the most replayable. Oh, yes. Gen 6 started like the thing where the decks is getting bigger, and like the regional decks is bigger and bigger, to the point that like you can play any of the games for like hundreds of times and still having widely different teams and widely different scenarios that you can do. And especially with the Gen 7, you have basically your entire team run the first island, and heck, a Sword and Shield even more so. You can get like your entire team good to go without even entering without going to the first gym. So yeah. So Gen 6, yep. 3D, yep. What else? Okay, Fairy type, yep, that's a big deal. Mega Evolution even didn't really last that long. The Pokemon and Me and related content. Whether or not that's a positive or negative thing, that's your opinion. But you gotta admit, it's definitely not neutral. Trainer customization. Granted, it's more PBR, but then again, PBR is a spinoff, and it's only kind of a one-time thing. But for the main series, definitely is. And for me specifically, like the Friend Safari and Shiny Hunting. Okay, here's a good one. Nobody mentioned Gen 2 yet, okay? Day and Night Cycle. I mean, the thing with Day and Night Cycle was that it got removed in it got removed. Oh, yeah. Oh no, it got removed in Ruby and Sapphire. Even though the Day and Night Cycle is still there, it's just not visual. Genders, okay, yep. Breeding, yep. Shinies, held items. Yup. Okay. This is a good take. Here. Gen 2 is super important. Like, granted, the thing with like some of these, like genders, let's see here, genders, maybe Day Night Cycle and genders. I think that is probably should have been there from the get go, Gen 1. And that's probably like a general like evolution to series, because we all know about the Nidoran lines, the splits of male and female. However, because of how genders work in Gen 1, which is non-existent, they have to put it as separate dex numbers. For example, if the Nidoran lines were to be released in Gen 2, not in Gen 2, if they released in Gen 4, I think, then Gen 4, even like Gen 5, they would have not have 6 separate numbers, 6 separate families, or 2 separate families. It'll be one whole family, one base Nidoran entry, and male female has different models, different models and sprites, and then they branch off like a V shape, that sort of thing. What else? Held items, yep, that's important. The special attacks defense split, that was a big deal, yep. In-game defense based on the days, yep. Pokeballs, yep. Steel and Dark types, that was a big deal. Happiness, that affected a lot. The bags separated into different compartments, because remember in Gen 1, everything was stored in the same few slots in the bag. Training matches, berries, yep. Oh yeah! Crystal had a female protagonist. That in itself was a very influential, yep. And a sprites of Crystal, yep. Okay, this is a good take here. I like that. I like this take. No one talks about how underrated shinies were as an early feature. That's true, because shinies did start in Gen 2, and how the devs really wanted people to know about shiny Pokemon. They even included a whole story bit about a shiny Pokemon. That's how important they think shinies are necessary going forward. So yeah, because of the Red Gyarados plotline in Gen 2, which is mandatory to progress through the game, by the way. So you have to know about shiny Pokemon if you want to even play Gen 2. Uh, but yeah, and even though the whole all regional forms the sort of thing, I think only regional forms kind of stuck. But the Mega Z moves Dynamax is kind of more of a 1 to 2 generation thing that's probably nobody's gonna care about going forward. I mean, yes, people do care about Megas and Z moves and stuff, but like they're not a permanent feature, is what I'm saying. But yeah, right here. I didn't read this part. Yeah, happens to choose Gen 1 for Pikachu, but it's actually Pikachu though. It's not a whole game-wide thing. Sure, 1 obviously, not surprised. Yeah, as I mentioned, is this the same person? I don't think it's the same person. No, it's not. Yeah. Oh, eggs. Yep, breeding eggs. Yeah, that sort of thing. Yep, this is kind of big deal. Gen 2 is important. Yeah, natural progression. So here's another instance of someone thinking that Gen 3 4 are not considered influential because they're more like a natural progression of the series rather than an actual like a not so revolutionary concept. It's fair enough. Move tutors, yeah. Okay, moving sprites. Wow, the Gen 2 crowd. I'm sorry how loud the Gen 2 crowd is. Like, even though they're not as up, I mean, we're like not even close to the end of the, not even close to like the middle of the thread. And yeah, people say like how important Gen 2 is. Yep. This guy has a general opinion about Gen 4. Not surprised, but they don't really see like see fan favorites. Even though I don't like Gen 4, but I see why. But probably more impactful, even though it doesn't really give down to a reason. Sure. Okay, the physical special. Yeah, again, someone saying the physical special split is the only good reason. Like, for example, here's the thing: like, if the physical special split wasn't in Gen 4 but is in Gen 5 or even in Gen 3, people will still say that the physical special split, the split, is the most important thing. I should probably make I gotta think about it. I should probably make a thread, like a cartouche of this thread about what was the most influential feature. I should probably do that. Now that I think about it. Okay, so I mentioned in my in my introduction thread that you could say that Gen 6 is the most influential generation because Pokemon Go released during that time, and we all know what Pokemon Go did for the rest of the franchise, to the point that's now part of the anime. So yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, I meant to say anyway. See, Gen 3 definitely core game mechanics. Yep. Solid lasting memento exists indefinitely, even though it's more, I still think it's more nostalgia more than anything else, but that's just me. Okay, so this is more like Gen 4 or 5, sure. Gen 4 shifting how types worked, resulting in so many Pokemon become much better and much worse. Don't forget much worse. There are Pokemon that became worse due to the split. For example, I'm going to say myself, Gardevoir can learn the elemental punches and could benefit from the elemental punches, but in Gen 4 it cannot because it's now physical. Like I said, yeah, those punches were special, and even though Pokemon like Hitmonchan benefited from their type being from he benefited from its main level up moveset being physical. For other Pokemon, it actually became worse. So it's not exactly 1-to-1 like better. The second age of Pokemon's evolution, kind of, yeah. I think I kind of get that. Design philosophy. Okay, that's a good one. Cause I remember like in Gen 1 days, like some Pokemon were just badly designed. It's just a thing with eyes. Like remember Magnemite in Gen 1. Like if that was released in current gen, people would hate it because it's just a magnet with an eye. And that's why people don't like Vanilla and Tropius. Sort of a meme for why people don't like it. Oh, it's the ice cream Pokemon. It's the garbage Pokemon. But the duality of that. Oh, Gen 5 has terrible looking Pokemon because they're just object bonds. But then Gen 1 is like Voltorb. I was like, well, wait, but that's not just a Pokeball. It's a mimic. It's a whole different thing. It's like a dungeon. It's like a typical RPG thing. So what about Fungus? It's similar to that, but it's literally just a mushroom. But yeah, the designs of Pokemon, yeah, in Gen 6 especially, like the Pokemon designs got like actually really good. Like, even though they didn't have as much Pokemon, but they made it up in quality, and there are a lot of Pokemon that are good quality designs. I mean, granted, the Gen 8 starters are older than Story, but yeah, people just don't like starters anymore, especially the final form starters, because the design philosophy of starters actually diminished over time. But like for everything else, definitely. This in a nutshell, Gen 3 pushed me modern Pokemon. Good. I mean, with all the other comments we have here, and this makes sense. Another person who purely thinks that physical special split was the only reason why Gen 4 is popular. Again, because the other generations have it. If Diamond and Pearl didn't have it, then whatever had it first have it. Yeah, okay, I read someone at the game for 10 to Fish Pokemon Gen 2. I've heard that too. I think I've heard it. Does it sound like that? Let's see what a different opinion. Let's see here. Bad opinion. So, bad opinion, Gen 6 and Gen 6 have been pretty poop. Bad opinion. Shame on you for bad opinion. Okay. Gen 5 because of the backlash. Oh, the backlash got it changed for one worse. Okay, so similar to the following comment that like, oh, say like Gen 5 and 6, they're most influential because it made everything worse. That's your opinion. I understand your opinion. Honestly, for me, Gen 7 was the worst between it and Gen 5 and 6, but that's, again, this is my personal opinion. But I can understand that, because, yeah, cause Gen 5 had a ton of backlash. I think it's not as much of a backlash Sword and Shield got, but it is pretty out there. 4 with 6, global, yep, trading globally, yep, good opinion. Gen 5. Okay, so here's the Gen 5. Trail battles, rotation battles. I still wish that those two, like, at least rotation battles can continue, because, like, triple battles, again, seems like a natural progression, but it just made things a lot more chaotic. But for rotation, like, it has a good extra dimension of a good extra, like, think a bit more with rotation battle. I like rotation battles for that, because it gives a lot more of a, it's more mental. It's even more mental how you have to do certain things, like than maybe double battles are. So, quality of life, trading retired box, ask to use other repel. Oh yeah, the whole like when you use up a repel, like in Gen 1 through 4, you have to like go back to your bag and use one. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. The little quality of life things. Yep. Higher quality animations, Sword and Shield. You feel like they lost a lot of Gen 6. I mean, granted, if you have to make thousands something like Pokemon models, I think there's not enough time to do all that stuff. Okay. Oh, okay, we got a long one. Okay. Wow, not even a single like upvote. Nobody upvoted this. Quite a few comments. Nobody uploaded this. Let's see here. Let's see if I can like read it real quick. DVs, the stats. Yep, got that. Unknown forms. Although that was stats Gen 2, not 3. Shiny we're no longer attached to stats. Oh, okay, never mind. Abilities. Yep. KB Trade 4. Yep, mentioned that already. My favorite spells that hit the stride in Gen 4 had the first entry in Gen 3. Oh yeah, because people really like Mystery Dungeon, and that started. I think that started like somewhere between Gens 3 and 4. Wait, no. Mystery Dungeon Balloon on the DS, that came before Diamond and Pearl. So, yeah, Mystery Dungeon started in Gen 3. What else like spin-off started in Gen 3? I know there were quite a few. Paintball started in Gen 1. I can't remember right off the bat, but yeah, I get it. Let's see here. Yep, Splits, Battle Revolution. Yep, mentioned that already. Online. With a GTS, like GTS. So with Mystery Gift Advance. Yeah, Mystery Gift. You know, Mystery Gift itself started in Gen 2. They didn't really be taken serious until Gen 4. Yep, that makes sense. Uh, yeah, the global thing, not Gen 4. Yep. I'm surprised that's actually the smallest paragraph of all these. Uh, oh yeah, some things like never return. I kind of like the fact that Gen 5 like nature used Gen 5 Pokemon instead of going like have to use previous Pokemon because it just felt like a reboot. Even though people didn't like that, I did. That's fine. What else? Ton of decent story, very linear region. What people like it or not, that's their opinion, but that is an official thing that has a thing going forward. You don't need HMs, that's a big deal. Let's see, not to include. Oh yeah, so this is from Kanto because yeah, Pokemon has always been Kanto baiting to some extent, but not in Black and White specifically. What else? Oh yeah, basically outside Japan. That's kind of a big deal because otherwise, like, we would have so many. If Gen 5 didn't took place in a region based outside of Japan, it would probably be. I think they would have to do it eventually. I think like they would have to move away from the Japanese based regions eventually. I think that's natural progression, but like it had to start somewhere. So, and plus it didn't finish all of Japan yet, so I guess that makes sense. That's fine. No traditional third version. That's Gen 5. Yep. What else? Oh, whole sort of experience point depending on your fully evolved or higher level. Yep. That's fine. Gen 6 play customization. It did mention 3D. The full party XP share, whether people like it or not, it's a thing that stuck like ever since. Okay, it's here whenever I've started to relieve the need to design the games to compete with phone games. Yeah. This is Gen 6, and this section is Gen 6 in a nutshell. Especially considering when they did their own phone game, which is more than 9 did their own phone game. It actually was too much of a success. But like, I'm pretty sure I'm among many fans do believe that Pokemon could just do what they needed to do back in Gens 3 and 4 and 5 and not worrying about phone games because they are not phone games. Yes, you can make Pokemon a phone game, but just I know that they're doing it with Legends Arceus. They are doing it with Legends Arceus, it's fine. But I feel like they no longer need to. They don't need to think that because phones exist that people will take their time away from Pokemon to play phone games. Just let if probably thinking that then why not because of that make your games better, like make your games like more top notch. But yeah, I see where this is going. Band introduced, even though like the concept of storage Pokemon wasn't a new thing. Storage Pokemon box, and that's a GameCube game for Gen 3. Gen 8 skipping Gen 7. That's fair enough. I mean, it's the last place vote. It's fine. Going forward for Gen 8 has its own island. Yep. No, trying to avoid going referencing older games. Sure, like unless they have to because of remakes. More picking and choosing based on what makes sense for the region. And home stuff, that's what. Yeah, no, it is Gen 8. Never mind. But yeah, guess we'll see. And this person is a Gen 5 fan. Okay, got it. Gen 7 removed the need for HMs. That's true. That is true. Like, even though Gen 5 like removed the need for HMs, they still have them. For the first time, you can actually use 6 Pokemon you like. This is kind of why I liked BDSP, so I don't have to have Staraptor in my team. I don't have to have a flyer, so I can just choose Vespiquen if I wanted to, which I did. An evolution of Gen 5s, that's true. What else? Okay. Gen 7, because this is the first game... Okay, fine, so Gen 7. Okay, because the first game of the Pokemon Go era, a lot of fresh attention, even though it wasn't that great. It was beautiful in the ceiling of 3DS graphically. Different vibe, that's true. I don't know what the IGN rating for Sun and Moon is, but I don't really care. Older fans had justified grasp of Sun and Moon, but the new players mostly left satisfied. Let's see your 3D. Bad opinion. Let's see your Gen 2 crowd. Gen 4 crowd. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. I'm going to stop with this because it just mostly... What is this? Why does this have 0 upvotes? This I get why it's 0. This is why I get why it's 0, but like this doesn't need to be 0. Okay, so I think that this is fine. I think I kind of get where this is going. We're at 35 minutes into this video. I think it's a good time to end it off. So yeah. So once again, what do you think is the most influential generation? Again, you can include spin-offs. Just think of anything you can think of what makes a Pokemon game, Pokemon generation influential, and what makes it important going forward. And for most people, that's Gen 4. Even though the Gen 2 crowd is actually surprisingly vocal, so good job, Gen 2 crowd. Like, I'm not gonna lie, Gen 2 crowd actually gave good reasons why their generation is the most influential. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. So see you guys later. Maybe you could do a different topic of sorts, make it put on Reddit. So yeah, maybe I'm thinking about putting which game feature is most influential, but it's probably just gonna be physical split, but we'll see what happens. See you guys later.